Hey, what is up everybody? How are you guys doing? Thanks for checking out Bluefoot Homestead. It is pouring down rain here. Got a little bit of a break, figured I'd try to get a video in. But if you hear some chatter in the background, I got metal roof. So yeah, I might get a little bit loud. Anyway, the Iranian mothership of drones. Yes, isn't that a great headline for all media? All media, everybody's kind of talking about it. The Iranian mothership of drones. That's a movie. It's great. Now, okay, is this possible? Yes, I think that they did launch that ship out of Iran, sent it into the Atlantic. Nobody seems to know where it is. Yes, you can put one and one together and come up to that possibility that this is what's going on with the drones. Now, there's a lot of conspiracies out there. There are all kinds of stories. You know, people think that it could be the US. I kind of believe that, which I'll get into. There's people that think it's aliens. I tip my tin hat to you guys. Get her done. But there's a lot of different stories on what's going on. Hopefully I can make a little bit of sense about this. This is kind of what I've come up with. And I think it's probably one of the most legit explanations of what's going on. Now, I'm going to take it a step back. We have a tendency to forget about things that go on in this country. We have a tendency to forget about things that go on around the world. Now, kind of on the recent side of it, Russia has come out over the war in Ukraine and said, okay, you're using Ukraine as a proxy to make attacks on Russian soil, talking to the US. So if you can do that, we can do that. I just realized I have chicken feed right by the door and the door's open with rain. I gotta close it. Guys, don't get your chicken food wet. So Russia is saying, if you guys can do that, we can do that too. You guys remember that? Yeah, I do too. That was pretty recent. Now, they have been probably putting together a plan for some way to use a proxy against the United States. Now, I want to step back again and look at Afghanistan. When we were in Afghanistan and our withdrawal from Afghanistan, there's a couple things here. One, we left a crap load of equipment, we left a crap load of money in Afghanistan for Al-Qaeda and the Taliban and ISIS. They all got a piece of it. But at the same time, China instantly moved into Afghanistan, made partnerships with everybody, made trade deals with everybody, and financial deals with everybody. And I'm sure some sort of military deal. Now, one, China is very pro-terrorism. They think it's a great way to, a great strategy to use in war. They think it's very effective. So they're in on it. Now, we've had this rise of Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. Russia is funding them as well. So, as it is, they are basically always chanting and living a lifestyle of death to America. Now, if Russia wanted to come in and get some sort of proxy to the US, well, we have Cuba, which they have done. They haven't acted on it yet, but they are armed up, ready to go. They have Mexico, which I don't really think they've done anything with, and Canada and things like that. But outside of that, their proxy is going to be North Korea, China, Iran, things like that. But they are invested into Al-Qaeda. China is invested into Al-Qaeda. Now, they have been planning, the terrorist groups, an attack on US soil. Now, again, it wasn't that long ago that the government, the FBI, I believe, came out and put a map of possible targets by terrorist groups in the United States. Now, I'm going to show you that map here. I want you to keep that in mind because I'm going to be bringing that back up. Now, In this process, and this was actually before Putin came out and said it, well, a little thing that happened over the last few years is we've had an open border. Now, everybody was talking about this like it was the end of the world. We got military-age men coming in. We got Chinese 20-year-olds coming in 5.11 gear and tactical gear. We have the Venezuelan groups. We have Middle Eastern. We have Al-Qaeda. We have ISIS. We're catching ISIS. A lot of them got through. Now, how many people came through the border? Tens and tens of millions of people. Now, going back to Al-Qaeda, they have been training people like crazy. They're getting funding from Russia, they're getting funding from China, and they're getting funding from the United States. We are paying them $40 million a week in payments for whatever reason. I don't completely understand that. It was to fight other people, I guess, but I'm not going to believe that I know why that's going on. But I have heard a couple times now that we are paying them very handsomely at the moment. They are training their people top notch. This isn't the 2002 groups of Al-Qaeda that we were fighting when we first went over there after 9/11. This is a whole new breed. This is a whole new visionary of Al-Qaeda and the terrorist groups. Totally different than what we were fighting before. They're formidable to an extent. Okay, they've been coming across, they've been putting people through Syria, getting passports and things like that, flying them on American Airlines over to Texas and all over our country. We have a lot of terrorists in this country. Now, the FBI was coming out saying we have more red flags than we did during 9/11, which were a lot of red flags. They should have caught it, they didn't. This is worse than 9/11. The way the terrorists work, especially with Al-Qaeda, is they always have to top their last job to the best that they can. So the last job against the United States was obviously 9/11. They're going to up that quite a bit. Now they're also working with Hamas, Hezbollah, and all these other groups. Even though the media is saying they all hate each other, no, they're making deals and they're playing the game. They're not necessarily as stupid as we want to think that they are. So they're all kind of in on it. Now, we just had the attack from Hamas onto Israel. That was very effective. China was watching it. Russia was watching it. Everybody was paying attention to this. Why? Why were they paying attention to it? Well, it was kind of a training run, a proving ground, because all of these adversaries around the world that I've been talking about want to attack the United States. Now, they're working together. They're getting very large amounts of funding pumped into this terrorism group, all of the terrorism groups. All of these terrorism groups are in the United States. The FBI has come out and said, this is the case. We need to be aware, head on a swivel. All of these cities are possibly going to be a terrorist target, much greater than 9/11. Big, okay? So now we have these drones. Now, I have not done this yet, and I was going to actually ask you guys if you could do it, but I figured I'd go ahead and do it in the process of editing this video. Look at the map of the heat map of these drones. Where are they at? I'm going to overlay, and I'm taking a guess at it right now, but I'm going to overlay the heat map of the drones over the heat map of the terrorist threats in the United States and see if they line up. Now, if they don't line up or I need to talk about it, I'll talk about it right here. So I'll cut in. So anyway, we have these drones. Now, is it Iran? Yes, I know it's Iran. Iran. I'm American. I don't say taco. I say taco. And I say Iran. Anyway. Is it Iran? Yes, it could possibly be Iran. It could be that mothership of drones floating out in the ocean ready to destroy the homeland of America. But I also know that the terrorist groups are here wanting to destroy the homeland of America. They are on operating status at the moment, ready to go to do major terrorist attacks in this country. Now, when everybody is asked about these drones, whether it's the Pentagon, experts, the White House, we have to use a little bit of logic here and look past the bullshit. I mean, come on, honestly. They don't know where they're coming from. Bullshit. They don't know where they're going. Bullshit. They don't know where they came from. Bullshit. It doesn't take a lot to figure these things out. If they're coming out of the ocean, they know where it's coming from. They don't have infinite fuel unless they have these new micro-nuclear reactors, but that's not really feasible, especially for a little drone. And I say little, yeah, this 6 foot by 8 foot is a very small drone as far as the military goes. They say they don't know anything about this stuff, but they are not a threat. That is probably true. They say, we don't know anything about these things, but don't shoot them down. Please don't shoot at the drones. Probably true because we spent a lot of money on them. It is not a threat. The drones themselves are not a threat. No, because the drones are probably here to help you. Again, my last video that I put out, we can't handle the truth. They can't come out and directly say that this is against something that could possibly end our country. They can't do that. We can't handle the truth. Another thing with these drones is it's been coming out recently, I've been hearing about it today, that it is messing with electronics. There are things that are happening, like radio stations flipping randomly when these drones are directly above whoever that is taking this video. Their clocks are randomly clicking through different times. It's messing it up. Now, we do have focused EMP weapons. We do have them most likely the size that can fit on a drone, the size of an SUV. That could be very effective. Now, why would we have these attached to drones? Why would we have these up there? Well, if people are working on complicated electronics and artificial intelligence for a nuclear bomb, you can fit one in a suitcase. Could this stuff, how would they be able to get the material to be able to do this? Well, you could throw it on a shipping container out of China and have it in Ohio in no time at all. They own the logistics. And yeah, I'm sure they're throwing money towards these shipping companies to say, expedite our stuff quicker. We'll throw you $35 million if you can just go ahead and skip those inspection points, even though there's only about 4 to a couple 100,000 containers that actually get inspected. So odds are pretty good anyway. But yeah, just go ahead and pay some of these guys off to just go ahead and flow that through, because American people need Chinese shit. I'm sure that happens regardless of any sort of wartime activities. So they can get these things in there. Any sort of electronic stuff, any sort of artificial intelligence, they'll be able to possibly use these focused electromagnetic weapons to hit these targets. Basically drop it right inside a window like we like to do and fry whatever they're working on. So what are these drones? Honestly, I think it's us, the US government, our military. It could also be artificial intelligence from everybody's computer making the crap up. You know, that's another thing, but tin hat off to the people that believe that. I'm actually curious to work on the maps and get the overlay of the maps to see how that works out, because that is going to really solidify what I'm thinking here. I think that we have an extremely high threat right now of extremely high casualties and death and violence going on Hamas style in the United States at any given day. Most likely early into 2025, but you never know. You absolutely never know. I believe these drones were up there to for surveillance. I think they're up there to put a stop to some of the stuff that these terrorist groups might be working on. And I honestly believe that they're up there for our own safety. As crazy as that might sound, I have a growth on my chest lately. Can you see it? So this girl is seriously chunking up for the winter time. She has been eating she's been eating our food and obviously other people's food too, because she is almost round. But yep, kitty's doing good, by the way. So yeah, these drones. Is it the mothership from Iran? The Iranian mothership of death drones coming to a theater near you? No, probably not. Is it aliens? God, I hope so, because life is going to get really, really interesting. But honestly, I believe this all wraps back around to ultimately ISIS taking the hit for this Hamas-style attack on the United States, which is going to go up to the Taliban, which is going to go up to Al-Qaeda, which is going to go up to Russia, Iran, and China as they all sit back in their recliners and smile. Because that's where the war's going. This is a war over world dominance with China, and they're playing a damn good game. So yeah, all roads lead to China. Anyway, I wanted to touch on this, give my ideas on it. It's something that nobody is talking about out there. Nobody is putting this web of things together to actually make sense of it. They're just believing what the media is saying when they put White House officials and government officials on there going, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. There's no threats. There's no threats at all. Everybody just keep paying your taxes and get to work. We got it all under control. So it's not a threat. Or is it? All right. I will talk to you guys later. By the way, this is Saturday. I think I mentioned that before. A little bit warmer outside. Anyway, I'll go ahead and leave it with that. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment below if you agree with it, if it makes sense, if it doesn't make sense, or please, if you think it's aliens, let me know. I will talk to you guys soon. Talk to you next time. Peace.